Because no one really knows what you have going on in your day. No one knows what's going on with your finances, your mindset, nothing. You know what I mean? Just sit down with yourself and say, what is it I want to do? What is it I can do? You know, what budget do I have? What time do I have? And then put your plan of action together.
Whatever you heard of me ain't worthy to me. I'm just too cutthroat, verbal surgery. How you claim to know thyself when your shelf's too high? I keep mine's at eye level. What you trying to hide?
I can't teach you how.
Peace, 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 beautiful family. This is Dr. Walter Hidalgo, and this is the Know Thyself podcast. The Know Thyself podcast utilizes the metaphor of the shelf in order to extrapolate the self. And the way we do that is we invite guests to come in and share something about themselves. And before I introduce my guests, as always, I'd like to give a big shout out to a couple of people. I want to shout out my brother Steve and his 2020 collections. Definitely check him out. You got incense, you got shirts, you got hats, you got a plethora of things. Shout out to my brother Emilio and his highly living gear. Shout out to Missy. We'll talk about her. curvymom.com. We'll talk more about that. And definitely check out the website, knowthyself.tv, where you can purchase a copy of my book, Beyond the Four Walls, The Rising Ministry and Spirituality of Hip Hop. You can also hit me up for workshops, both of us, and including coaching. If you're looking for coaching for kids between the ages of 4 and 14, holla at me. I do that. And the second thing that we do is we like to shout out a group of individuals. And today, I want to give a big shout out to all my black female entrepreneurs, yo. Yo, because it's a movement out here and I love it. I want to give a big shout out to anybody who has ever adopted a child. Anybody who has ever taken on the role of a big brother, big sister, a mother, or father figure to anybody, it's just, we love you and we thank you for being alive in this world, man. So shout out to all of you. And of course, I want to give a big shout out to all my hustlers, all the people that make it happen. No matter where, as Jay-Z said, on God's green earth, I can double my worth. Because I got someone here that I love, that I respect, that I admire. I got here with me my sister from another mother, Missy.
Hey, what an intro, man.
I know, right? Everybody likes my intro. I'm learning from Nori. Shout out to Nori and the Drink Champs.
Okay.
Because this is about giving flowers to every person that I've interviewed. Because I'm proud of you. It's important that we know your story and share your story.
Oh, well, thank you for having me.
Of course. So we can talk about how we met. I've known Missy for a long time. We've done work together, business together, and I'm grateful that God has brought me this person because I've learned, I've grown. But we'll save that for another time. For right now, I want to know if we were to step into Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, into this time machine, and we were to go into a younger Missy.
Oh, God.
What would we see? What would we hear? All that good stuff, because you're originally from?
Oh. So I moved around as a kid, so depending on what time frame we're talking, that depends on where I was.
So what was a big chunk of your life spent? Where at?
A big chunk was Brooklyn.
Oh, really? Okay,
yeah,
you're a
Brooklyn
BK girl.
At heart. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
talk to us about Brooklyn, but also talk to us about moving around.
Yeah. So Brooklyn, I originally was born in Maryland, but then, I jumped back and forth from Maryland to New York to Virginia, back to New York, back to Maryland. So I rotated a lot, but Brooklyn always felt like home to me. Like, they always say home is where the heart is. It's not within four walls. It's, where you feel the most comfortable. So for me, it was Brooklyn because of the culture. I didn't know it back then because, you're a kid. You don't know why you like it, but when you get older, you realize it was the culture, it was the people, the diversity, the place to express yourself, because I've always been creative in writing, but back then, when we were younger, we didn't have the outlets, like social media, blogs, and all this stuff. So we didn't know that there was others like us, but living in Brooklyn, having access to the libraries, to different museums, and to the city, which is Manhattan, we call it the city, it allows you to see like there's life beyond just you and what you think you like, and there's others like you. So that's really why Brooklyn is like will always be my heart, even to this day. I love Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Any chance I can get to go, and it's amazing to see what it's becoming. It's still developing. If you go to Brooklyn now, they have like all this creative graffiti, and it's like just a place of expression. Like as soon as you hit Brooklyn, you're gonna find something that says, okay, creative expression.
Right. Yeah, I definitely concur. I always tell people, I'm a rep BX because I spent so much time there, but Brooklyn, I feel like I was meant to be there too, yo.
Yeah.
But they priced me out, so I had to move out. But shout out to all my Brooklyn people. I want to talk about a Curvy Mom.
Okay.
.com, right? I want to talk about the genesis and talk to us about that.
So a Curvy Mom just developed really last year because of the pandemic. And it took me a while to get there. I went through this phase where I wasn't sure what I wanted to do anymore. I knew I wanted to write. I had been doing coaching for so long before that. And I'm like, do I still want to do this? I want to help kids. I want to write. I want to blog. And I was just all over the place. And then I just got to the point where I was burnt out because I was just trying to do too much, have my hands in too many different things.
We're just talking about that off camera, so it's crazy you're saying that. Yeah,
it's real, especially
Yep.
when you're passionate about everything. But we can't do everything,
Yeah.
right? So I was pregnant, and then so I took some time off, and I just said, you know what, I'm gonna use this time to just focus on family. And then when I feel the urge to get back to what I was doing, I'll go back. And then one day it was just like, I want to start writing again, but I also want to start coaching again. And the urge came back, the passion. So I just narrowed it down, and I was like, you know what is my life now? Because I can no longer do what I was doing before. I could no longer work 18-hour days. I could no longer travel, the world anymore. I had to find a project that I was passionate about, but also fit my lifestyle now. Being a mom of 3, still having my projects that I was working on, and still doing my passion stuff. So I was like, what is going to work for me? So I said, you know what? I can still do my blog. So I still have that where I spotlight womenpreneurs. And then I was like, as far as the coaching, I still wanted to help women turn their passion into projects. That's something I'm super passionate about. Like, just because you're a woman, just because you're a mom, doesn't mean that you don't have skills. You could still
speak on it. Yep.
You can still develop a business. And a lot of people, again, need to be educated that being an entrepreneur doesn't mean that you're going to open a Starbucks. You literally can start a business because you have organizational skills.
I need to ask you, because I ask my guests this all the time. What's an entrepreneur?
I think to me, it's in your heart. And I know that's not something you hear every day, but an entrepreneur to me means it comes from your heart. It's who you are. It's your mindset. It's your lifestyle. It's what you're teaching, the people around you. It's not, I don't look at it as like a material. I don't look at it like a building, or a franchise. I think it's the person you are.
It's like we say that we are our own brand. Like the fact that you exist.
Yes.
You're selling yourself.
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't sell your soul in the process though too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly.
Some people do.
Yeah. So I want to talk about Black woman entrepreneurs, right? Because that's been probably the biggest growth that we've seen in the country. Young Black women being independent. And a lot of this has to do, because it's sad, right? Because a lot of our Black and brown men are in prison. So women have to kind of step their game up, right? So it's by default that a lot of the reasons that's just one reason, right? I'm not saying every Black, brown man is in prison, but that's just a reality. And unfortunately, a lot of Black women are single, you know what I'm saying? And raising kids on their own, one or the other. But despite all that, there's this growth of. What's your take on that? Why is that happening? As someone that is that, right? Is that?
I think it's a lot of reasons that you said. Speaking to the single mom aspect, I think a lot of single moms are, and nothing against corporate America at all, but I think a lot of single women of color are getting fed up with not only not getting treated the same, but being taken advantage of. And then they also feel the time restraint for being a mom, you know, that you still have to ask permission to take a day off. And, you know, with this pandemic, you know, it's so much uncertainties. And you shouldn't have to choose between, okay, do I stay home with my child or do I go into work? And there's so much unknown. And I think that's pushing a lot of women of color to go, they're like, okay, let me find something else that I could do because I need the time flexibility, or I need to feel valued, I need to feel appreciated, you know, or they might just say, I need additional income.
That's right.
Yeah, so I think just between all that's going on over the last 2 years, I think it's really pushed a lot of women to just say, hey, let me start a business.
Yeah, and I think you're not alone because I think with this COVID, and we were trying to avoid not talking about this, right?
We tried hard.
But it really hit the reset button for all of us.
Yeah.
Because for me too, it was like, I definitely can say that COVID Walter is a different, even though we're still in this, but it was like, okay, I'm home here. And, you know, because people are reassessing what the 9 to 5 is. We're deconstructing it.
Yes.
Does that thing even exist anymore? I think that's why we're seeing a lot of the now hiring signs everywhere, right? Well, that's because people are starting their businesses at home. Yes. Like, I'm surprised there ain't no sign saying we're hiring at people's homes, right? But nobody wants to, you know what I'm saying? But it's changed the game. I really think it changed the game a lot. Yeah. And I seen that with you. I mean, you've been on even pre-COVID, just been on it. Like, I think it's like we said, it's power. I don't know if it's the water in New York or what. We're just kind of bred on survival mode. Like, for me, I felt when COVID was at its worst, at its peak, it was just like another day trying to survive. Like, how am I gonna make it? Yeah. You know, we got apps now. We got different things that we can do to extend ourselves without overwhelming ourselves, and learning how to utilize our resources now, particularly this social media thing. Even though I was bashing it earlier,
it all goes back to it. Though.
It goes back to it, right? Yeah. What does it take? What are the steps if somebody wants to follow your path? What's the advice you would give that young woman?
Don't follow my path.
That's the same thing, my boy. Yo, shout out to my boy June. He said the same thing. He said, don't follow my path. Yeah. Create your own.
Yes, definitely. Create your own. I mean, because no one can walk in our footsteps.
That's right.
You know? No one can walk in your footsteps.
That's
no one can walk in mine. Like, whoever's trying to start their business, no one can walk in theirs. Like, everyone has their own path and journey. The one thing I will say don't follow is taking other people's advice either. Is not really so great because no one really knows what you have going on in your day. No one knows what's going on with your finances, your mindset, nothing. You know what I mean? Just sit down with yourself and say, what is it I want to do? What is it I can do? You know, what budget do I have? What time do I have? And then put your plan of action together. You know what I mean? That's the best starting point because so many people are so passionate about their business or about making money or having time off because they think it looks good because of social media. And at the end of the day, it's hard work. It's a lot of risk, little reward sometimes. And you have to think, like, what's going to keep you motivated through all of that stuff?
You know, so we have to be very conscious of that, and especially, again, even if you feel bad or whatever, but you say something that adds to it by way of these two, you become part of it. So the most important thing that I leave you all with this is watch what you post. Word.
It's that young project baby who been live from the Hexagon, thoroughbred about his bread with no need to flex with the hunger and the hustle while I still keep it.
The workshop tonight was excellent. The kids were engaged and Walter did a great job. He even had me and Donald answer questions. So Can't wait for the next one.
I think his message is timeless, and how it was delivered, it was engaging, meaningful, and powerful. And we took away something also, which is the power of relationship, whether it's digital or in person. So as they say, sometimes to get into Facebook, you got to get your face in a book. And that was one of our takeaways. Thank you very much, Dr. Hidalgo.
Session was excellent. The kids were really engaged. They really understood and learned a lot about social media and what their impact could be. I'm looking forward to the next session.
I always tell people, there's when they say that there's the entrepreneur spirit. So there's a spirituality to entrepreneurship, man. It really shows you what you're made out of, you know? It makes or breaks you.
It does.
And some days it makes you, other days it breaks you. But it's like, who's on top? Who's going to, where's the longevity in this, right? Because we have to think long term.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, totally. As we always do in the Know Thyself podcast, we invite people to share something that comes out of their shelf, Missy.
Okay.
What you got for us, yo?
So we're doing something a little different, I heard. That wasn't that he's never done this before. But, being an entrepreneur, you have to be creative.
That's right.
So we're going on a little tour.
Let's do it.
All right, everyone. So I don't have a shelf exactly, but my shelf is kind of my space because I feel like you have to protect your peace. And what better way to do that than to have your own personal space to give you time to think, get your mindset right, get creative. So here we have like my workspace that my kids decided to decorate with all their beautiful artwork. Because again, this motivates you because I'm like, okay, I got my kids, I gotta get busy, this keeps me motivated. And then you can flow into my closet area, which, of course, every female has to have their walk-in closet. And then, of course, my little one, he sometimes comes down here to help me work, think, create. So he has his own little personal, play area down here. So, yeah, so this is my shelf. And the shelf to me kind of means what motivates you? What keeps you going? Why are you doing this? And for me, it's my kids. And I want to provide a different lifestyle for them. I want them to see, you work hard at something, you can achieve whatever you put your mind to. So this is my shelf.
Love it. Thank you so much for sharing your space. And I think like I was saying off the camera, that's a tangible manifestation of a big piece of you, yo. You know what I'm saying? Something that has developed, and to incorporate your kids into it too. Yes. That they see you. Because as somebody once said, right, you gotta give people something to believe, man. And if they see you doing it, they're just gonna do it too. And maybe better. Yeah. We hope, right?
Yeah, we want them to be
You know what I'm saying?
So they're gonna be taking care of us one day.
That's right. Missy, I just wanna say that I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. Keep doing your thing. Thank you for inviting us to your home. And this is dope. As we always do in the Know Thyself podcast, is we end with a quote. Okay. And this quote comes to us from Marie Forleo. Okay. Never heard of her, but it reads as such. Success doesn't come from what you do occasionally. It comes from what you do consistently. Super facts.
That is.
New Rochelle, we here.
I like what I like. You know what I'm saying? Right there, that sound right. Slight work for the right work to her. Check. Yeah.
Peace, 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 beautiful family. This is Dr. Walter. If you like this video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Also, if you like the way this video is edited, shoot us an email at knowthyshelftv@gmail.com. We have price packages for short videos, long-term videos. It definitely helps to promote your business, your brand, and yourself. Peace.